that I move things out of your way, and maybe one day one of you can manage all these controls, right? So today we will have that, inshallah. So أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمد ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ربي يسر ولا تعسر وتمن بالخير. May Allah SWT put barakah in our time and we be able to grab lots and lots of lessons for ourselves in Surah Imran, the ruku number 13, which is verses 42 to 54. Barakallah fi on all the ones showing me that you are ready to collect gems for today, mashallah. So let's begin, and let me just make sure that I can see. Okay, I have to turn this annotate off. Now I have it. Okay, let's start with the dua. Allahumma arina al-haqqa haqqan warzuqna ittiba'ahu wa arina al-batila batilan warzuqna ijtinabahu. Oh Allah, show us right as right and give us the ability to follow it. And Ya Allah, show us wrong as wrong and give us the ability to avoid it. Okay, many people will see right as right, but they do not still follow. Many of us are seeing what's happening around the world, but still we find ourselves back on games and devices and wasting our time. Right? If you agree, then go ahead and type yes. That I can see that yes, even though we see, we hear people leaving this world, we see that there's so much happening around us, still we get sometimes tricked. So may Allah SWT help us see the right as right and keep us protected. Barakallah fi, jazakallah khair for your writing, and that the more S's there, Zohar, that definitely tells me that this happens with, and many of us it happens with us, right? So we talked about in our last lesson that, you know, the way which was told to Zakaria alayhi salam is the way for us too. So please write next to your notes in the beginning also, am I doing my morning, evening askar now or not? So ask yourself this question again, and if not, go back to the previous lesson. We talked about certain ways also that you can add it in your life by using some applications, by having some dua cards, or by having it like I have saved it as a text in my phone. So I just pull it up and it's easier to say that. And some of them you start memorizing, and then you can say them while you're gardening, while you're walking around, while you're doing things, and it becomes easier and easier, inshallah. All right. Now, one of the recap, very important, you can flip your page and even go to the ayah number 41 to add this over there. Okay, think about Zakaria alayhi salam. When he had the good news of having a son, he was told that you're not going to be speaking to people for 3 days, except for, go ahead and type the word if you can complete my sentence, except for what you can do. Go ahead and type it into the text prompt, then I can know, inshallah, that you know. So the word was ramza, which means like gestures. Now today we live in a society where the baby is not even born, and what happens that the celebrations begin there. How many of us have heard events like baby shower? Go ahead and type one if you've ever heard the word called baby shower. So barakallah fi, mashallah, you've all heard it. So the baby is not even there and people are celebrating, and that's not what Allah SWT recommends. For us as Muslims, the correct way to go is to have an aqiqah. So once you have the baby in your hand, definitely share your happiness with everybody else. Think about it, that you start celebrating and tomorrow, God forbid, something happens and, the baby or something happens to the mother, it's not there. So all this festivity and all this thing, it's very important for me to tell you this, that if you want to be successful in the things you do, if you want to travel, if you want to open a business, you want to get married, then beware of telling the creation, because Rasulullah SAW said, be discreet in order to achieve what you want. Okay, so connect that at ayah number 41. Be discreet in order to achieve what you want. For everyone who is blessed is envied. This is very deep, girls, especially. Write it down, and inshallah with life this will sink it in. So sometimes when you get some good news, it's not necessary to announce it to the world. Okay, you can keep it to yourself and just keep praising Allah SWT for the blessings in life. There was a time when people used to have, you were about to get babies, nobody would even know. Even the people living in the same house would not even know till it's very near. The time is very near. But now it's not even the start of having a baby, and it's announced and everybody's aware, and there's so much going around it. So it's very important we read and we connect ourselves to the correct knowledge versus what's shown to us in the dramas and movies and media and whatnot. Okay, so let's begin with verse number 42, inshallah. If you are going to be able to listen to it, then type 1. I'm going to just play the first words for all of us to get focused. And if you are going to be able to hear it, then just type 1 for me, okay? Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wa, and, if, when. So there is the time period involved here, okay? And the time period is telling us that when it was said, the angels came and they said to Maryam alayhi salam, Ya Maryam. Okay, and we talked about who was Maryam alayhi salam, who was the family of Ali Imran in our last session. Now, what is the message? Inna Allah, indeed, for sure, verily, Allah has done what? Number 1, istafaqi. Please note down this word. This word is something that you hear very commonly. If I say this word, you will all make a very interesting expression, right? I asked you to keep your cameras closed, but I would like to enjoy that expression. I want you to enjoy that expression yourself. When your moms call you to do the safai, right? So safai, istafaqa, what do we do in safai also is that we are collecting the trash from the clean area and then we put it away. So istafaqa basically means that choosing. There's a meaning of chosen in there. And taharaka, right? So the root word, if you do the process of elimination, you will be able to bring it out. So tahara, and Allah has purified you. Wastafaki, again, He has chosen you, ala nisa'il alameen, above the women of the worlds. So as you write next to this ayah, you are going to go ahead and write next to this ayah, write Maryam alayhi salam, and just write some of her qualities that Allah had given her. Okay, so go ahead and start writing that Maryam alayhi salam, we know she was raised by Prophet Zakaria alayhi salam. We'll get more details coming up. She is one of the descendant of Prophet Harun alayhi salam, and she is the mother of a messenger and a prophet. Okay, so she is chosen by Allah SWT. Her own birth was a miracle. We saw that earlier, right? And she was protected from shaitan's touch at birth. And what was the reason? The reason was her mom's dua that earlier we were sharing to you, that how the great mothers, raise great generations. And she gave birth miraculously. We're going to find that out today's session. And she's the greatest woman of her time. That's the words of the Prophet ﷺ. And she achieved perfection in Iman. So as you're reading and as you're taking notes and as you're writing that, make dua for yourself and for your progeny. That Allah chooses us, Allah SWT make us achieve perfection in Iman as well. Okay? I want you to highlight that she is the only woman mentioned by name in the Quran, and an entire surah was revealed to honor her. Subhanallah. So this name is coming in the Quran, subhanallah, and this is a whole surah in there, and there's so many people around us. Go ahead and type 1 if you know at least one person who is a Christian living around you. Go ahead and type 1. And this is the beautiful surah to invite them, because they all know Maryam alayhi salam as what name? Go ahead and type the name they mostly refer her. What do they call her? Excellent, Sarah, mashallah, they call her Mary, right? And the angel spoke to her, and Allah sent her fruits of the summer during the winter. We talked about it when she said, Huwa min indillah. We talked about that in detail. It was very interesting for us. One time we were in a train at the Stone Mountain, and this was the winter time, and they were celebrating like Christmas at that time, and the whole train, they had put like songs about Christmas. And as a believer, like I felt very concerned. So as the ride finished, I went to the train, like the train in charge, and I asked her, like, who is the manager here? Because I would like to know why are they putting Christmas songs here, although they could just keep some like holiday theme going on. So she said, you know what, she's a Christian. So they came and they talked to me. They're like, you know what, we are Christians, so that's why we believe. And I said, you know, and people were at that time coming off the train in scores. Like there are lots and lots of people. In my view, there was like a lot of people coming down. So as me and my husband were standing there, I asked her, like, you know, all these people, they were singing and dancing and doing all that. Does anybody look like Mary here on this train? Subhanallah. And she looked back with people wearing shorts and bikinis and whatnot. And she turned around and looked at me wearing this huge abaya. And she said, honestly, you look more closer to Mary, right? And I said, I love Mary. I love Maryam alayhi salam. It's my dream to meet her in Jannah and go and hug her. So I really, really love her to the core, and she's the only woman mentioned in the Quran. And then we invited her to that. And then I asked her again, does anybody look like Santa Claus here? You know, and she looked around, and again she looked at my husband's beard, and she said, like, this looks close. And I'm like, yeah, that's why we're inviting you to read to succeed. So go ahead, be the ambassadors, and reach out to the world and share what Allah SWT has, the knowledge that Allah SWT has given you. Okay, so how many of us can do that? Go ahead and type 1, that yes, you care for the people around you and you can do that. Now the question is, what has Allah SWT chosen her for? What was she purified? What was that Allah SWT has given her, right? So she was purified from, and go ahead and write for your own self that I want to be purified from, number 1, bad habits, bad character, and from disobedience. Okay, and twice being chosen was that she's chosen amongst the people in general, and second time chosen amongst the all the women. And there are several ahadith about the status of Maryam alayhi salam, and she was not wasting her time and following what other people were doing of her time. You visualize her in that mihrab and all those beautiful fruits next to her, and you can see that she's not wasting her time. She attained a high status, and she focused on what pleased Allah SWT. So yesterday when I shared this video with you guys, and I look at this legacy of even this little girl, what she's doing and what amazing work her parents are doing, I was talking to my family that, you know, this must be that mother's effort, that she chose her name as Maryam as well, and she is making her, and she became a hafidah at such an early age, and mashallah, she is on her journey to educating so many others with the Quran. So definitely great mothers produce great generations. So may Allah bless Maryam alayhi salam's mom and her aspirations, as we discussed in our last 2 rukus, right? And you know, we cannot be saying that I will do what I please, but I still want Allah to reward me and bless me. If we want high status also, then we have to control our attitude. We have to control our tongue, and we will have to control our manners, and we will have to control how are we going to spend our time. Okay, so go ahead and write for yourself. At this time, please go ahead, give yourself a big tight hug, like literally squeeze your arms around yourself and give yourself a hug and say, Alhamdulillah. Allah SWT, you chose me to be a Muslim. You know what, during this time in the isolation was watching so many people doing so many things during this time. Like some are dancing, singing their time off. Some are, you know, just playing videos and watching, you know, doing crazy things. So Alhamdulillah, Allah chose you to study the Quran at this time. And He chose you, He blessed you with Islam. And, you know, highlight this. He blessed you with learning of the Quran, the meaning of the Quran. How many people are there who actually understand it? So Alhamdulillah, He gave us a good start by placing us on the right path. So let us not let this blessing go to waste, and let us protect our thoughts, minds, and hands from tips of shaitan. Okay, if you agree with me, go ahead and type yes, that yes, I will try my best to protect myself, my thoughts, my mind, and most importantly in these days, my hands. Your one click, you can be outside this class and can doing something else. Your parents can be thinking that, oh yes, mashallah, she's in the Quran class, and you can be somewhere else. And you will be like, okay, no problem, nobody even noticed, and my cameras is off, no, the teacher is not even watching me. Now we are in digital learning days, it's okay. But you know what, who is with you even in digital learning days? Who is watching you even in digital learning? Go ahead and type the answer. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. Yes, Allah SWT is always, watching you, and He has these assigned people, kiram and katibin, right next to you. Okay, so Allah SWT is watching you. Think about it. Why is somebody invited even as a moderator in the classroom and to lead the classrooms? Because they're at the right place. They're doing the right things and the right actions. That's how they get invited. That's why when we build some programs, some projects, we extend invitations to them. So you cannot be going around in the mall and think that, yes, I should be chosen as the best woman of the world. That's not going to happen. So we've got to have right intentions. Please write this very nice and pretty on your notebooks. Right intentions and right actions. You can have a very good intention sitting in this classroom, but you can just be sitting with your hands around and maybe playing with something on your desk, or maybe, eating or drinking at this time. No, it has to be right actions. This is the time. My book right next to me, I am very focused. I'm looking at every word. I will be playing Kahoot later as well. So if I want to be chosen, if I want to be first in this worldly competition also, I have to do the right intentions and right actions. Right? And if I want to be chosen in the hereafter, and Allah SWT to give me elevated levels in Jannah, again, I need to have right intentions followed by right actions. Right? So go ahead and give me a smiley face if you are sitting here with the right intention and you are engaged with the right actions right now, which is listening properly and then taking notes on your notebook. Once this class is over, if mom and dad pick up your workbook, they are not going to see an empty page there. They will see some beautiful notes written down. And since we are together as a family, this is a beautiful time. You can conduct a quiz for your families also. Okay, so you can have after dinner, you're going to say, okay, I'm going to have a special, I'm going to make a special dessert, and there will be prizes for some people who are going to answer things correctly. So you can have very good time in your own family, inshallah. Now, what was the instruction to Maryam alayhi salam? Go ahead and start making the list. Now that you have your correct intention, mashallah, tabarakallah, I love your beautiful smiles. So now that you have correct intention, start noting down. This, by the way, word is going to be in Kahoot as well. Okay, so what is this word? This word is uknuti. Ya Maryamu, uknuti li rabbik. So what is uknuti? Uknuti is be obedient. Okay, and what is obedience? Obedience is to follow what somebody is saying. Like right now, as your teacher, I'm telling you that you need to follow the instructions. You need to write lessons, right? So Allah SWT, you can go ahead and write next to this ayah a recipe to attain status with Allah SWT. Okay, a recipe to attain status with Allah SWT. So if we want to become special in the sight of Allah SWT, we need to be obedient to Allah SWT. Number 2 was judi, and do prostration. And warqa'i ma raki'in. This is very interesting. This is a feminine, feminine verb used here. And prostrate with those who are prostrating. So from here, we also get the indication for Salatul Jama. So even if you're girls together, you can pray together, and you can read more about it, how Aisha radiallahu anha and the other ummahat, that they were used to do that. So this is also an indication for the Jews, because there was no Salah at that time, that be like Muslims and start doing what the Muslims are doing, which is like Salah. So be obedient. Okay, so she was already righteous. Can you see that? She was not playing games in her mihrab. She was not like doing other things. She was already righteous. She was already a wonderful girl. But she is being asked to increase in her worship of Allah. Uknati li rabbik. Okay, what about us? Are we impressed by our own knowledge? Yeah, alhamdulillah, I know a lot. I take a Quran class, so I'm good. Or do we look at the next person next to us and say, you don't know the meaning of Fatiha. I know Baqarah too. So this is not about becoming arrogant. This is wasjudi, lower yourself. Go in sujood more. Praise and glorify Allah SWT more for what Allah has blessed us. It's not about that you stand on the podium and you have your selfie taken. Oh, look at that, I won. No, that's not about this. This culture will make you go in that direction. But the more Allah elevates you, the more you go down in sujood, the more you lower yourself, humble yourself, and get yourself connected to Allah SWT. And that is what Allah SWT is asking us on this ayah. So go ahead and write it for yourself. Highlight this word if you can. Uqnuti li rabbik. Humble. Okay, and ask yourself, do I obey what Allah says right away? As I'm going through the journey of the Quran, whatever is coming in front of me, am I submitting with humbleness? Am I obedient to Allah SWT, what Allah is telling me? Or what am I doing? Okay, so uknuti is not, you're not going to be obedient to somebody else. It's not that, you know, Rasulullah SAW is saying to people to be obedient to himself. No, he's saying to be obedient to li rabbik, the one who created you, your Lord, your Rabb. Okay, so that is the way to success, inshallah. And may Allah SWT give me and you the tawfiq to do that, inshallah. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Go ahead and type 1 if you have written that down, that inshallah I will, you know, say I will do what Allah says right away. Whenever I'll hear one command of Allah, then I will try to be obedient and listen to him. Barakallah fi, may Allah SWT reward you. Now there is another message here, the verse number 44. Dhalika min amba'i. Amba is naba, means news. Okay, so if I you know, bring out the root word here, this is noon ba in hamza. Mashallah, you have you can cross out, eliminate things, and you can bring out the root words now, right? So you can cross out the alifat here, and this is noon ba hamza. There is a surah naba as well. So naba basically means news which demands action. So Allah SWT is saying these are the news of the unseen. Ghaib. It was not seen what was going on with Maryam alayhi salam. There was no cameras over there. Nobody was live streaming it, right? Nuhi ilayk. We reveal to you. Go ahead and write here. Who is this you here? Who do you think is the you here? Let me see on my chat. Who do you think this is coming to? Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, barakallahu fi, mashallah, Sarah. وَمَا كُنْتَ لَدَيْهِمْ, and you were not with them when they cast their pens as to which of them should be responsible for Mary. This is the qalam. You see this pen? This is Qaf, Lam, and Mim. This is the qalam. So it was like, you know, like those arrows and those pens which they cast, that who is going to be responsible for taking care of Maryam alayhi salam. So Maryam alayhi salam, you know, mother, you remember that she was hoping for a boy and she then ended up with a girl, and she brought this infant to the rabbis from the offspring of, you know, Harun alayhi salam at that time at the Baitul Maqdis, and she asked, like, because they were those who were taking care of you know, the holy place at that time, and she told them that take this child and I want to make her serve the masjid, and I set her free. Muharraran, remember that word? She's my daughter, and you know, I'm gonna leave her into this masjid, and you know, leave her here, and I will not take her back home. So you know, they said, you know, Zakaria alayhi salam, he was the uncle. He was the, remember we talked about, he was like the khalu of Maryam alayhi salam. So he said, give her to me, for her maternal aunt is my wife. But the rest of the people said that our hearts cannot bear that you take her, for she is the daughter of our Imam. So what they did is they conducted like a lot. So they cast their pens to see which one should be responsible for taking care of her. There's another narration, and we get that this was done at the Jordan River, and they conducted it over there. They decided to throw their pens into the river, and whoever pen would stay afloat and idle would indicate that its owner would take care of Maryam. So when they threw their pens into the river, the water took all the pens under except for Zakaria alayhi salam's pen, which remained afloat in its place. So Zakaria alayhi salam was also like their master, their chief scholar, their imam and prophet also. May Allah SWT peace and blessings be upon him. So then they agreed that Zakaria alayhi salam take care of him. Okay, so that was what happened. Now let's get some lessons from this one verse. Okay, there's a lot of lessons actually. So number one, I want you to know that is it okay for us to do lotto and make it into a lottery now? No, that is not correct. Okay, Rasulullah SAW, there's hadith in which yes, you can, if there's a matter of decision in which it's not like you are having any financial things going on in that, then you can do that. But otherwise, it cannot be given on a decisive role in determining the rights known and fixed in Islamic law. At that time, you cannot do lotto or drawing pens. So Rasulullah said, if the people know what was in the adhan and the first row in the Salatul Jama, then they would not get it except by drawing lots, that they would draw lots. Like, you know, if people would understand how important it is to come and pray Salah in Jama, then they would start drawing lots who can stand in the front row, because there will be so many people rushing to it. But these days, subhanAllah, even if the masajid is closed, imagine how many people used to be there in Fajr Salah in regular times. Maybe, you know, some masajids, it's not even first full row. May Allah SWT help us realize these things, right? So in other words, it can be said that in a situation where the rights of all parties are equal and the purpose of the lot is only to allocate equal portion to each of them and to decide as to which portion is for whom, then drawing a lot is permissible. But yet we are not going, this does not allow the lottery system. Okay, so inshallah later, if you happen to be at such a situation, you can come back and refer to these verses at that time too. The other thing is that Rasulullah SAW is a human. He was not God. Okay, he did not have the knowledge of unseen. Okay, so no one except Allah SWT has the knowledge of unseen, and it proves the prophecy of the Prophet ﷺ that Allah SWT was telling him. So these people at that time who are listening, the people where Surah Al Imran is being revealed, it's being told to them that Rasulullah is a real prophet. He's the last of the prophets. Now what's happening? Now the camera moves, and think about is qalat al malaikatu, and mention when the angel said, "O Mary, indeed Allah gives you good tidings of a word from him." We talk about this kalima. Who is this kalima? Go ahead and type, girls. What is the meaning of this kalima here? So in our last lesson also we saw when we talked about Yahya alayhi salam, the kalima, very good, it's word. And in this one, who is being mentioned here? Who does this kalima mention to? It means a word. Yes, very good. And whose title is also as a kalima of Allah SWT. Excellent, Zara. That is Isa alayhi salam. He is also known as a kalima of Allah SWT. We talked about it in last verses. If you flip back on your pages, you will see that there when we talked about Yahya alayhi salam birth. So now his name is going to be, and notice his full name, Al-Masihu Isa. He's going to be a Messiah. His name is Isa. And usually you have father name here. It's Ibn Maryam, the son of Maryam alayhi salam, which points that he's not going to have a father. So on your last page, like on your page where you're taking lessons, I want you to flick to your favorite gem site and make a side area for something like, let me see if I can do that, something like Isa, like you know, a block like Isa alayhi salam, and you're going to write some qualities of Isa alayhi salam. Okay, so he is son of Maryam. Excellent. That's number one. This is number one right here too. This, like, he is going to be the Messiah, which people in English, they call it Messiah and we call it Al-Masih. And number two is he's the son of Maryam alayhi salam. Now he is going to be Wajihan. Okay, so he is Wajih. Focus this word. I'm going to tell you what this is in this world and in the hereafter, and focus on this word also. He's going to be Muqarrabeen. May Allah make us also have qualities of Wajh and Qurb of Allah SWT, because Muqarrabeen means those who are brought near to Allah SWT. So in your notes, you are going to make aside in small, write Isa alayhi salam, something where you can see it, and go ahead, start writing some of his qualities. In this lesson, you're going to see some of his amazing miracles. You will get to know more about Isa alayhi salam. And by the way, what do people call him around us? How do people call Isa alayhi salam all around us? What is the name they use for him? Go ahead and type that in. Excellent. Barakallah fi. They call him Jesus. and you may have seen a lot of signs that you submit to Jesus, our Savior. If you have any interesting story, you can also share here. Yeah, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. They call him Son of God. And today we see here that Isa is Ibnu Maryam. Think about it. If he was born to Maryam alayhi salam, if you think about your own family, right? If you tell me that this is your family, I have a brother and I have a sister, can I expect that there's going to be an animal in your family too, like by biological connection? No, a human family will have humans in there. So how can Maryam alayhi salam, being a human, deliver a baby and that be God? Doesn't even make sense, right? So may Allah SWT help us understand. So a little bit of history, that Allah chose certain families, people, and tribes and nations to deliver His message. So Bani Israel, that we have been discussing from Surah Baqarah, this was a nation who was blessed. There were many, many messengers sent to them, but they disobeyed them. So they were punished. There were signs that came to them. Anybody wants to write some signs, go ahead and write some signs which were given to Bani Israel. You can even name some prophets that came to Bani Israel, which they came in them. So they were punished, and then they asked for forgiveness, and they were forgiven again, but then they disobeyed again. So they were forgiven many times, but they kept on disobeying. Sounds similar to Muslims today? Right? And the final messenger sent to them, trick question, who is the last messenger sent to Bani Israel? I already have, mashallah, Ayman's message answer there. So that is Isa alayhi salam. Okay, so he was the last of the messengers sent to the Bani Israel. And now here it's mentioned to show them that his birth itself was a miracle. He was given clear signs. So in all their books, they knew about coming of the last messenger. Like in Isa alayhi salam's book also, they knew that the last messenger is still going to come, and that's going to be, and they were waiting for him, and they thought he's going to come in Bani Israel, but he did not come in Bani Israel, and that prophet came in Bani Ismail alayhi salam. And who was that prophet? Who was the last of all the prophets, but not sent in Bani Israel, but sent in Bani Ismail. Go ahead and type the name of that prophet. Excellent. MashaAllah, tabarakallah, barakallah fi. Sarah, Hadia, Noor, for prompt answering this Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Okay, so why were they told this? Okay, that this would be the last chance to follow a prophet. So they are being reminded of Isa alayhi salam here. This is their last chance to follow him. If they truly love Jesus, then they got to hear this. And I hope may Allah make you all a reason to connect your friends who truly believe. We see so many friends in school and other places who believe and they love Jesus, but they have no idea who Jesus is. So they were given their last chance to follow the prophet. And this prophet, we will see what his message in the verse is coming up. Okay, but let's just look at some words here. One thing, the word that I told you to focus and you can highlight is wajihan. So wajihan means distinguished in every aspect, not just physically, but in personality also. Have a high position amongst the people in dunya and also in the hereafter. So waji is a kind of a person that nobody can come to their face and say something bad. Like even if you want to say about that person that, oh, she's doing that or he's doing that, they are not going to walk to that person's face and say it, because they know that, this person is of high character. They can talk about him at the back, but they cannot come in front and say that. So may Allah SWT make you and me have this quality in us of wajihan. The second thing I told you to highlight in the verse was muqarrabeen. Qaf, raba, qarib, qarraba. The one brought close. The closest the one feels to Allah in this dunya, the closer you feel to Allah in this dunya, inshallah you'll be closer to Allah in the akhirah, right? Very good comment, Hadia. Jews are kind of like Christians, except they don't think that Jesus is the Son of God, rather they think he's the Messiah for them. Excellent connection. May Allah SWT help us all read this history and see why the world is in a big mess the way it is, and read the history why people are fighting. Although all the prophets, their message was the same: believe in one Allah, right? So question for me and you, looking at this word muqarrabeen, is, do I feel close to Allah? Go ahead and write next to it, right? So, and when you ask yourself this question, what does it mean by being close to Allah? How many of us will say, yeah, I feel close to Allah, but what does it mean to be close to Allah? It means that, like, it means when you say that I love this person, I feel close to this person, you understand them and they understand you. Like you have a phone bell ringing of somebody you feel very close, you will quickly pick up the phone. But if someone calls and you don't want to talk to them, you will just let the phone ring and ring and ring, and then you will either miss the call, let it go on the voicemail, and you'll pick up reluctantly, or you'll try to get up the call quickly. How many of you agree with that? Go ahead and type 1. But if you really, really love somebody and their message comes, you like rush and you like really even want to do FaceTime and you even want to see them and whatnot, right? This is how we should be feeling with Allah SWT. We get these calls, Hayya ala salah, Hayya ala falah. So this muqarrabeen will be like, how do I act when it is time to pray salah? How do I act? Do I haste towards it? Or do I just waste my jolly good time and going there? So Allah SWT made Isa alayhi salam, Masihu Isa ibn Maryam. He was wajih fi dunya wal akhirah. Wa minal muqarrabeen. Allahumma ja'alna minal muqarrabeen. Allah SWT make me and you also close to him and help us be close to him by communicating to Allah. So right next to this qareeb, muqarrab, how? If you want to talk to Allah SWT, then pray. And if you want Allah to talk to you, then just read the Quran, inshallah. With understanding, you will hear messages from Allah, what you're going to do next, inshallah. Okay, so let's write next to it, next to this same where I told you to write Jesus. You are going to write now some more things about him. He will speak to the people in the cradle. Yukallimun nas. Okay, so he is going to speak to the people in Mahad and Wakahlan and Kahal. And he's going to be amongst the Salihin. 3 things mentioned here. Let's look at them one by one. Are you ready? Okay, so go ahead where you have written Jesus or Isa alayhi salam. You go ahead and keep adding this to your list and just understand this very well. Okay, so what is Mahad? Mahad is like a cradle. It refers to the age of infancy. Have you ever seen a newborn baby up to 6 months talking like fluently in a conversation? Go ahead and type 1 if you've seen it. If you've not, then type 0 or no. How many of us have seen some babies talking? No, right? Alhamdulillah. So there were only 3 babies who talked when they were in the cradle, and one of them was Isa alayhi salam. Okay, they usually sleep a lot. And where do they sleep? They sleep in their cradle. What is this kahal? This is the age, please note down, is roughly around between 30 to 50. When somebody crosses 50, then it becomes kibar, an old age. Okay, yes, Hadi, I'm going to tell you about those who were the other 2. Just hold on to that thought. Okay, and then he will be amongst the righteous. Okay, so who were these other 2? Second was in the story of the Buruj trench, when people were being thrown in the fire, there was this mother who was reluctant, so the baby told her that you just stay firm, inshallah we'll be fine. And this was also like when the Pharaoh had built up a huge fire, and the mother she saw her all kids being thrown in them and get fried. At that time, this baby told the mom to stay firm when she was being thrown into the fire, right? And then there was another one. There was a story about a person named Zorej. He was blamed by an indecent lady, and she put an accusation on him. And inshallah, when you read that story, you find out that the baby eventually spoke in his witness that he's a good person. Okay, alhamdulillah, barakallah fi noor. So definitely look it up, and you can find, and that could be a good research for you, that who are the other 2 babies who spoke when they were very little. Okay, so coming back to this, there were some miracles. Typically, children are not able to speak until a certain age. And how many of you have ever seen your own baby videos when you were like from 0 to 1? Anybody has seen their own videos when you were babies? Any special words? No, Mariam? Okay. Okay, Ivan. Okay, any words that you remember what you used to say? I remember my son when he would say McDonald's, he would say "Eme I don't know" or things like that, Baba, Dada, mashallah, right? So that there were people who were given miracles. Isa alayhi salam was a very special birth. He was given, this was a miracle that he could speak when he was an infant, and at this time, people were looking for cures for diseases. So, like Musa alayhi salam, people were interested in magic. And at the time of the Prophet sallam, when this Quran is coming down, it was a time when people were really fluent in literacy and they were interested in poetry and stuff. So they were amazed when this Quran came. Barakallah fi, mashallah. Okay, so this indicates that so basically here he could speak in the toddler age, and you can see that in the Surah Maryam, the entire conversation he had. When you're going to see something, what did he say? And this kahla, as I told you, it's 30 to 50. This, please point down that this shows that he is going to be back in this world very soon, inshallah. Right? He is going to be back because he was taken up in our next session. Next time when we meet, we will talk about how he was taken up, and I'll connect with you over there at that time, that he was taken up roughly around early 30s, and he will be coming back, and he will be follower of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu, and he will be doing some amazing things, and we'll talk about it. And even right now, the signs that we're seeing in the world, they're all connecting to that. Yes, Zara, soon means very soon. We are seeing so many signs that the Prophet ﷺ told us already becoming true. Okay, so if you can write for me on the prompt, READ, read to succeed. You can see those signs, and you will be like, wow, Ya Allah, what we are in right now, alhamdulillah, because there's a lot which is coming up, subhanallah. All right, so what did he say? He said in Surah Maryam, if you go there, you can see his words there. What does this baby said? When people were accusing the mom that where did this baby come from, and you were a good woman, and what happened to you, and this and that, she was just told to point to the baby, and the baby spoke on her behalf. So when you are being blamed in your life, leave it to Allah SWT, inshallah. And Allah will create signs for your justice, inshallah. So what did he say? He said, Inni Abdullah. He didn't say Inni Allah. He didn't say that I am God. He said, I am the servant of God. I'm servant of Allah. Okay, so may Allah SWT help millions to know his message, what he said at the infancy. And he has given me the book, and he is the one who made me a prophet, a nabi. And we get in other verses, may Allah give us the tawfiq to study Surah Maryam together, that he and his mom would use even the bathroom. They would even go to the marketplaces. Gods don't do that. So he is a human. Okay, and I want you to write here, if any baby, newborn baby who is born is able to speak, they will speak these same words here, Inni Abdullah, that I am a servant of Allah. Because when a baby is born, they are born on the fitrat of Allah SWT. It's very interesting that they're born on the fitrat of Allah SWT. And there's so many things I wish I had more time, I can share those details with you. But every baby, if any baby can talk, they will say this, that Inni Abdullah. But then later, the society, we ourselves, we put toys in their hands, which has like weird musics and whatnot, and we expose them to all kind of, lahwal hadith, and they end up being what they become later in life. But if you keep any child on the fitrah, they will want to be an obedient servant of Allah SWT. So now she was very surprised. Coming back, she got this news that you're going to, just imagine how big of a news is. You're going to get a son. He's going to be wajih. He's going to be muqarrabeen. He's going to be amongst the salihin. He's going to speak when he's a baby. He's going to speak when he's kahlan. He's going to be like mature. So what is her reaction? She's a human too, right? So what is her reaction? She is qalat, Rabbi, oh my Lord, how will I have a child when there's not a single man who has touched me? Yamsasni. Anybody wants to use their pen and show me the root word for yamsasni? Go ahead and work on that. And this basically means when something touches you. Just like today, a little germ or a virus can touch you and it can change you into positive, and can have that infection going on you. Okay, anybody wants to grab the pen, they can do that and show me Yamsasni. So basically that's like the virus, right? And Mus is like touching basically. So she is a very good lady, right? And she is okay. We are having a technical difficulty. Dania and Hadia. Okay, everybody can hear me? Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillah. So something touched me as well. So who is able to work on the root word of Yamsasni? Let me see. Okay, show me your annotate and you can write Yamsasni inshallah. And I just have to make sure now that all of you I can see properly. Okay. Okay. Arush, I think I left, so you became automatically the host there. Can you transfer just click on my name and just transfer the host there? So that would be nice. So that I can use the controls. MashaAllah, you were the first one in the room, and see how we get chosen. This is like a practical lesson for us, how we become chosen. Subhanallah. MashaAllah. And that's why you have to be at the right place with the right intentions. So Arush, if you can hear me, you can unmute yourself also. Okay. So you're going to click on my name and you will see more, and then you can be like, make host. Okay, let's see. Can you do that? You can find. Uh-huh. Okay, barakallah fi, mashallah. This is like such a